The question is that the bill be a second time. I'll give the call to a member for Hinkler.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. And I rise to speak against the Combating Anti-Semitism, Hate and Extremism, Firearms and Customs Laws Bill of 2026. We need to do better and what is right. We owe it to those who lost their lives and those impacted by this attack to get this done in a measured and precise way. We don't have a gun problem, we have a radical Islam problem. I support a national register, but that on its own isn't enough. In my home state, the Queensland Government have indicated they won't even be involved in any buyback scheme. We don't need these laws to stop another Bondi. We just need to enforce the laws we already have, with law enforcement agencies working more cooperatively. Many people have contacted my office, strongly opposed to these gun laws. Legitimate businesses with contracts who could collapse. That businesses could close down. Some of these contracts are with this federal government, our state government and our local councils. Reality is, do you honestly believe spending $1 billion by trying to take guns off Australians, that you're actually going to take the guns off criminals and terrorists, not the innocent Australians? Yes, the Coalition supports genuine measures to combat anti-Semitism and violent extremism. But this bill is being pushed through with minimal opportunity for scrutiny, even though it is a proposed response to the worst terrorist attack in Australia's history, and it risks punishing law-abiding Australians while failing to address the real causes of extremism and terrorism. Labor is attempting to present this as a decisive anti-Semitism response, but the firearms package is a major policy shift that will have huge consequences well beyond the stated purpose. I will always be standing up for the people of Hinkler and all Australians who will, very unfairly, be hurt by this. The Bondi terrorist attack was horrific, but the content of this bill effectively is using that tragedy to justify wide-ranging gun laws, changes that will be felt most sharply by lawful farmers, sporting shooters, collectors, licensed pistol competitors, firearms dealers and other related businesses. This is not a credible counter-terrorism response. It's a diversion from the government's countless number of grievous failures and missteps in dealing, or more to the point, not dealing, with anti-Semitism and radical Islam. Of course we support public safety, but the buyback framework is incomplete, with key scheme details not finalised. There is no firm legislated guarantee of fair market value compensation for weapons surrendered, consistent with the 1996 model. There is also no clarity around the costs, which could be enormous and ultimately swell to many billions of dollars. That will almost certainly, in this case, result in inconsistency, confusion and inequities across jurisdictions. The proposed restrictions on imported pistols risk effectively prohibiting lawful pistol imports, including pistols used for recognised sporting and elite competitions. Here's just a few examples of the dozens of emails I've received in my office in just the past few days. As a sport and recreation shooter, I feel that we are being unjustly targeted through new laws that haven't been seriously debated and proper consultation undertaken. Then we have the gun buyback and import restrictions appear to target licensed, law-abiding owners, rather than addressing the root cause of violence. Number 3, there has not been enough time to consider all the implications and unintended consequences of the bill. Number 4, if a national buyback proceeds, that compensation needs to reflect current market value, cover accessories and ammunition stocks and include provisions for dealers and businesses. And number 5, firearms are a legitimate and necessary tool for farmers and those living in regional and rural Australia. These communities rely on firearms for pest control and livestock protection. Speaker, as I said, there are 5 things that have just in the last few days that I've had through my office of people that are completely against this and what's going to affect them. This bill is large, complex and consequential. Stakeholders have had inadequate time to scrutinise it. It contains a series of flaws. We don't have a gun problem, we have a radical Islam problem. Thank you.